Welcome back. This is chapter 6 from the Author Talk series for my book, Journey from the Ego to the Heart Center. So chapter 6 is called Spiritual Death of the Ego. I don't believe we just have one spiritual death of the ego. I think we have many. But what I've learned over time is that every time I have one, there's always this remarkable breakthrough and a remarkable catalyst for something new coming into my life. Because I've now realized that it's important for me to have, obviously, spiritual death of the egos, because it peels away versions of myself that's no longer needed, that no longer resonates with my new reality, my new experience. So don't be afraid of your own death of the ego. So many people I notice try to avoid it, and that's what you call like a spiritual bypass. They're sort of trying to dodge it. But I've realized it's actually important to have it, because that little bit of a grittiness and that discomfort allows for something else to come through. Think about the caterpillar when it goes into the cocoon, and then it's in there and it's transforming to become that butterfly. It's got to go through its own discomfort, and it peels away the outer layer, and then what happens? It emerges. It's a metamorphosis. This beautiful butterfly comes out, and that's what I feel with the spiritual death of the ego. It is that metamorphosis. We need it to happen in order for us to have spiritual evolution and growth in the self. Okay, so for me, I talk about in this chapter how Dr. Shefali's work on conscious parenting influenced me immensely. I had multiple deaths of egos happening all at once, because when I started to sign up for her courses, Awakened Family and Conscious Parenting, her courses aren't a walk in the park. You got to do the work. You got to really do the assignments and journal and witness yourself for the first time. What are your triggers? Where are you still playing small? Where are you still acting like a little girl or a boy and you're not grown up yet? And it's only when you see it and that ego starts to die and dissolve that this new version, the adult self, can emerge, which is now coming from a place of a higher emotional intelligence and a heart-centered wisdom. And that's where we need to make more of our decisions from, because a lot of us are making it from the ego mind, and that's what's tripping us up all the time, because we start to believe it, but it's an illusion. If we tapped into our heart center wisdom, which is more aligned to the higher self, which is connected to the God, the God essence, or the source, or the divine prime creator, we would have better outcomes and relationships in our life, no doubt about it. So this chapter I talk about, I love how the Buddhist quote, no mud, no lotus. Like, we've got to sit in our own mud. We need to sit in our own trenches and witness what we've become, and then make the changes and do this self-improvement and go on the quest of self-mastery to become the lotus, to change. So this is what I talk about. And what you notice in this human experience, it's like we're on the snakes and ladders. We're on a playboard, and sometimes we ride up the ladder and everything's going great in life, and then sometimes we sliver down the snake, and it's generally because the ego gets in the way and it makes a poor choice. So this this chapter is me talking to you, giving you some insight of what is the spiritual ego, how do we tame it, and how can we get better at co-creating our reality. I actually start to show you that everything you're part of is almost like a movie. You're playing out your own movie. You are the director, the actress, the producer, or your family and friends. They're sort of like the coming actors. They're co-creating all these realities with you. Nothing's a mistake or an accident. Everything is destined. It's all divine timing. And when you start to see that for what it is, then you start to realize, oh my goodness, now I can sort of play in this playground and start sort of moving the chess pieces on the board to make new realities. Because a lot of us keep replaying our drama because we're stuck in our own loop. We're stuck in our own emotional loop, and some of us like to live in the victim. Some of us enjoy the drama, but it doesn't improve our state of life. And so this is inviting you to see what is the ego and allow for that spiritual death to occur, because the more it occurs, the more it's less likely to be in the driver's seat of your life. You need to be in the driver's seat, and that is the adult version of you that comes from a place of a higher emotional intelligence, has a high EQ, and is heart-centered wisdom. All right, so good luck. I hope that, and I don't, it's really weird to say like I hope you have a spiritual death of the ego. I'm not doing it to jinx you or put the moz on you. I'm actually saying that it's for you to evolve. If you want to have improvement in your life, sometimes the spiritual death of the ego has to happen. You need to have you have to hit the rock bottom. You need to get to your own little breakdown, because then you will propel upwards and you'll start to make changes. Some don't. Some people stay stuck in there. But if you can make a conscious awareness to say, no, I don't want to live in this lower self, this low vibration. I want to experience a high vibration. Then you start to take the necessary steps. And that's when you can introduce mindfulness, self-care, observing your thoughts, working on your triggers, and doing courses like Dr. Shefali's parenting. You don't have to have children to do that course, because just parenting yourself is enough. That's it. If you can just parent yourself, that would make a huge difference in your life and in the relationships you have, both at work and with your family and with your friends. It's that simple. But are you willing to do it? Because it's about being uncomfortable. It's about getting out of your comfort zone, and not many people want to do that. We would rather take the easy option. We would rather pop a pill. But I so highly invite you to explore, go on the journey, and see if you can just put your feet in the water and just feel it and see how it sits with you, and take baby steps. It's not a race. It's just, you just sort of work at it day by day. That's it, and see what happens. So yeah, that's the chapter. It's very interesting when you start to experience the death of the ego. It's not pretty, but I'm so glad I've had many of those, because it's the person that I am today that I'm proud of. And if I didn't go through all those, I don't think I could have put this book together, because I needed to come from that place where I could just let go and be here. You know, when you're in the ego, sometimes it's hard to talk and have these conversations or cry on camera. But when you're not in the ego, you just go, well, it's me, and I'm authentically showing up as the most present version of myself, and there's nothing for me to be worried about. I'm enough, and that's it. So there you go. If you want to know more about that chapter, you can pre-order the book. It comes out soon. It's already available at Amazon Store and Pegasus Publications. Bye for now.